frozen girl, burning secrets, the wind howled across the ice like a hungry wolf. Commander Rayn was alone again, sitting inside his old ship, the Black Falcon. He was far from Earth, parked on a dead planet nobody cared about. No life, no cities, just endless cold and silence. He was used to being alone. After the war, after losing his brother, it was easier this way. Rayn checked his scanner. Nothing. Again, he sighed and leaned back. Another quiet day in the middle of nowhere. He muttered, "Dot bang." Bang. Suddenly the airlock door shook. Rayn jumped up. Bang. Bang. This time louder. Someone or something was outside. He grabbed his blaster and ran to the door. The scanner blinked. Life form detected. Not human. Very weak. What the hell? Rayn opened the small window on the door and froze. A girl stood outside, barefoot, dressed in thin silver cloth, skin pale blue, lips trembling. Her eyes glowed softly in the dark. She pressed her hand on the window. Her voice came through the com system, weak and shaking. "Please, human, I'm freezing. I'll do anything. Just let me in." Rayn hesitated. This could be a trap. Pirates sometimes used fake signals or even androids to trick people. But this girl, she looked like she was dying. "Open the door and she stabs you," he whispered to himself. "Don't open it and she dies." Another bang. She was losing strength. He cursed under his breath and hit the door release. A blast of cold air rushed in, and she collapsed into his arms. Her body was ice cold. Rayn dragged her inside and sealed the door. The heater kicked in, warming the thinna. Air fast. He laid her on the floor and grabbed a thermal blanket. She shivered under it, trying to speak, but barely making sounds. He looked at her closely. She wasn't human. Her skin had a light shimmer, like moonlight on water. Her hair was silver white, glowing slightly. But her eyes, they were scared, not evil, just scared. "Who are you?" Rayn asked, voice calm, but ready for danger. She looked up slowly. I'm Elara," she said. "They were going to kill me." "Who's they?" She didn't answer. Instead, she curled into the blanket, eyes full of pain. Rayn stood up. "All right, alien girl. You better not try anything. I've got a blaster, and I don't miss." Elara smiled weakly. "You already saved me. I won't hurt you." Rayn didn't lower his guard. Later that night, Rayn sat near the control panel, watching her sleep on the bench. His ship felt different, colder, like her presence was affecting the systems. He checked the life support again. Still fine. But something was draining power. A soft whisper came from the dark. "She's not normal, is she?" Rayn turned. No one was there. Just static from the ship's radio. He frowned and looked back at the girl. She was awake, staring at him. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," she said. "You've got heat sensors going wild. And your body temp's not even in normal range," Rayn replied. "I come from a cold world. My people don't need warmth like you do. And the part about they'll kill you?" She paused, then whispered, "I escaped." "From what?" She looked down. "A human lab," Rayn linked. "Wait, what?" "You humans found my planet, captured many of us. I was part of an experiment." His hands clenched. "That's not possible. Humans don't do that anymore." Elara looked into his eyes. "Not all humans follow your rules." For a long time, silence filled the room. That night, as Rayn lay trying to sleep, something woke him. A soft sound, a whisper. "They're coming." Sat up. Elara stood at the window, staring at the sky. "What did you say?" She turned slowly. Her eyes were glowing brighter now. "They found me. They always do." Rayn jumped to the control panel and scanned the sky dot at first dash nothing dot, and a small dot appeared, fast-moving, unmarked, heading straight toward them. "Damn it," he muttered. "What have I let in?" The girl stood behind him. "You saved me," she said softly. "Now I'll save you." Before he could ask what that meant, she placed her hand on the ship's console. It lit up in colors he'd never seen before. And then the ship started talking back. Asterisk, she's not what she seems. Rayn stared at the ship's console. It was glowing, alive, responding to the alien girl's touch like it knew her. "Stop," he barked, pulling out his blaster. "What did you just do?" Alara didn't flinch. "I unlocked your ship's voice. She's been sleeping." "She? My ship is a pile of scrap. It doesn't talk." But it did now. A soft, calm voice came from the speaker. "Welcome, Alara. Neural link detected. Core systems awakened." Rayn stepped back. "What the hell are you?" Alara looked over her shoulder, face calm, but her eyes, those glowing eyes, had a storm in them. "I told you. I'm not from your world. But what I didn't tell you." She paused, as if choosing her words carefully. Is that I wasn't just escaping humans. You said humans were experimenting on you." "They were," she said quietly. "But not normal humans, not civilians. It was a black project, secret, hidden from your government. I was the final subject." Rayn shook his head. "None of this makes sense. How are you controlling my ship? It's not even smart tech." "You don't understand," she said. "You're not flying a ship. You're flying a prison transport. This ship was designed to carry things like me." Rayn froze, his stomach twisted. "What did you say?" She turned to face him fully now, her silver hair catching the ship's dim lights. "This ship was built by the same humans who built the lab I escaped. They used ships like this to move test subjects, me, my kind, and others." "You're lying." Alara stepped forward. "Scan the ship's serial number. You'll see. Your ship wasn't salvaged from pirates, like the seller told you. It came from the Helix project." Rayn's hand trembled. He typed in the serial code from the wall into the console. The ship's voice responded. "Black Falcon, Helix Transport Series 9X. Transfer logs classified. Owner, Commander Rayn. Purchase origin falsified." He felt the floor drop from under him. "Why would they lie to me?" he whispered. Alara's voice was soft now. "Because you're closer to them than you think." The radar pinged. "Incoming." Signal. Same ship as before. Closer now. Fast. No ID. No signal response. Silent and deadly. Alara stepped to the window. "That's not a rescue ship. It's a recovery unit." "What do they want?" Rayn asked, already knowing the answer. "Me. And anyone who's seen me alive." Rayn's grip tightened on his blaster. His mind raced. Who was telling the truth here? Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. "EMP blast incoming," the ship's voice said. "Shields failing." Rayn jumped into the pilot's seat. "Can we jump?" "Out. Engines offline. System override detected." Alara looked up sharply. "They're hacking in. They know the codes." Rayn looked at her. "How do we stop it?" She hesitated. Then she pulled back her sleeve. Her arm glowed. "Not skin, not metal. Something in between. A living machine." Rayn stared. "What the hell are you?" Her face was sad. "A mistake. A weapon. A child who was never meant to live." She placed her glowing hand on the dashboard. The ship screamed. Panels blinked. Power surged. "Systems are rebooted." Then silence. The radar showed the incoming ship had frozen mid-flight, floating, powerless. Rayn blinked. "What did you just do?" "I spoke to it," she said simply. "Same tech. Same language. You mean you just talked to a battleship? No, I overruled it. But the danger wasn't overdot from outside. Something hit the side of the ship. Hard. Rayn ran to the cam feed. A black figure in armor too smooth, too silent, was attaching something to the hull. Ilara's eyes widened. That's not a soldier. It's a retriever. Sounds friendly. It's not. It doesn't stop until it gets what it wants. And it doesn't care who dies along the way. Rayn cursed under his breath. Okay, alien girl, he said. You better start telling me everything. What they did to you. What they made you into. And why they're so desperate to take you back. Ilara stepped close. Her eyes locked onto his. I'll tell you everything, Commander Rayn. But you may not like the answer. Try me. She leaned in and whispered, because your brother helped make me. Asterisk, they're here. The ship was too quiet. Rayn paced across the control room, blaster in hand, nerves stretched thin. Outside the window, the black-armored figure, the retriever, was still clinging to the hull like a spider. It hadn't moved. In minutes, too still. Too calm. I don't like this, Rayn muttered. Ilara stood near the console, glowing arm hidden again under her sleeve. Her face was calm, but her eyes tracked everything. Every beep, every flicker, every breath. You said my brother helped create you, Rayn said, his voice low and sharp. Explain, now. Ilara nodded slowly. Your brother was one of the first commanders at the Helix project. He wasn't like the others. He cared. He treated us like people, not parts. Then why is he working with them? She shook her head. He went missing after he tried to help us escape. I thought he was dead. Yeah, Rayn said bitterly. So did I. The screen flickered. Alert. External breach detected. Hull pressure compromised. Location, Cargo Bay 2. Rayn's heart skipped. That's where we keep thee. Before he could finish, the lights went out. Total darkness. Asterisk, then bang. A crash from below. Metal screamed. Something was inside. Rayn raised his blaster. Stay behind me. I'm not hiding, Ilara replied. They moved through the hallway. The backup lights turned the walls red, like blood flowing through veins. Another bang. Closer. Rayn aimed down the hall, ready to fire. Then asterisk. Click, click, click. A sound like claws tapping metal. From the shadows, a shape appeared. Tall, thin. The retriever. Its face was smooth, blank, like polished stone. No eyes, no mouth. Just cold death in armor. It turned its head toward them. Asterisk, then, without warning, it charged. Rayn fired. The bullets bounced off like pebbles. Run, he shouted. They sprinted down the corridor. Ilara turned and raised her hand. The lights exploded. Sparks flew. The retriever slowed, confused. Ilara slammed her glowing palm onto a wall panel. The door behind them sealed shut. Just as the retriever slammed into it, boom, the ship groaned. That won't hold it for long, she said. Rayn looked at her, breathing hard. What is that thing made of? Pain, steel, and old human nightmares. Back in the control room, the ship was glitching, screens flashing random code, systems failing. Ilara plugged her hand into the console again. Rayn flinched. Are you merging with my ship? I'm speeding it up. Suddenly, the console spoke. New command accepted. Lockdown protocol activated. Doors slammed all over the ship. The retriever was trapped. For now, Rayn dropped into the pilot chair. We need a plan. I can't kill that thing with bullets. You can't keep hacking forever. Ilara looked at him. There is one way. A signal disruptor. High frequency. It scrambles its core. Great. Do we have that? No, she said. But you can build it. Rayn's eyes widened. What do I look like? A science wizard? You were a weapons engineer. Before you became a commander. I saw your file. He stared at her. How do you know that? I was designed to know everything about you, Rayn blinked. Come. Again? They trained us to recognize the enemy. Your voice. Your face. Your heartbeat. We studied every commander on the Helix list. You were one of them. Rayn swallowed. I never worked on Helix. No, but your brother did, and you were close. That was enough. Silence fell. Outside the ship, the stars twinkled quietly watching. Rayn finally spoke. Fine, I'll build it. But if this goes sideways, you'd better be more than just pretty lights and sad eyes. I'm more than you know, Elara said softly. Suddenly dash boom. The retriever blew through the sealed door. Its arm had turned into a sharp blade. Rayn jumped up. Not again. Elara stood between them. Her arms raised. The retriever charged again. Rayn shouted, What are you doing? She didn't move. She stared the machine down. The retriever stopped. It trembled. And then it backed away. Rayn stared in shock. Why did it stop? Elara turned to him slowly. Her voice was not soft this time. It was deep, commanding. Because it remembers me, I used to be one of them. Asterisk the human experiment. The retriever stood still, silent, frozen. Elara didn't move. Her glowing eyes locked onto the machine like a commander facing her own reflection. Rayn pointed his blaster, confused and furious. You just said you were one of them. Elara slowly turned to him. I was before I escaped. Before I remembered who I really am. Rayn stepped back. Start explaining, now. They moved to the control room. The door locked tight behind them. The retriever didn't follow. It just stood there watching. Elara sat down, calm. You want the truth? Here it is. She placed a small glowing cube on the table. It buzzed, lit up, and projected AHOLO- recording A lab clean. Cold. Human doctors in white suits. Metal beds. Creatures screaming, strapped down. And in the center, a boy, young, terrified. He looked familiar. Rayn gasped. That's my brother. That's Eli. Elara nodded. He wasn't just part of the project. He led it. Rayn's chest tightened. No, he was a soldier. A scientist, maybe. But he wouldn't. The Hala played Eli's voice. Begin. Phase 3. Inject Subject 47. Let's see what she becomes. Rayn stared in silence. Subject 47. The camera turned and showed Elara. Small, hooked to machines. Wires in her spine. Her body shaking. Rayn turned away. His hands were shaking. They used my brother to do this? Elara nodded. He believed they were building peace. But Helix was never about peace. It was about power. Creating weapons. Using us to win wars. Before they even started. She looked at Rayn. They took my memories, my name, my soul. I was just a tool to them. Rayn clenched his jaw. So how did you escape? Elara's face darkened. Eli helped me. When he realized what they'd done to me, what I'd become, he broke protocol. She paused. And then, he disappeared. They told everyone he died in a crash. But I don't believe that. Rayn narrowed his eyes. You think he's alive? I think he's somewhere inside the project. Maybe hiding. Maybe trapped. Or maybe ... changed. Suddenly, the console beeped. Signal detected. Unauthorized transmission. Rayn rushed to the screen. Someone's trying to connect. The signal was scrambled. But a voice broke through, faint, glitchy. Rayn, if you're hearing this... I'm sorry. Rayn froze. He knew that voice. Eli? They lied? They're not who they say. Get off that ship. Elara, she's not. Static dot signal lost. Rayn stared at the screen, heart pounding. What was he trying to say? Not what? Alara's voice was calm, but her hands were clenched. I told you, I'm not who you think I am. I wasn't just created. I was upgraded. Rayn looked at her. What do you mean? She stood, pulled up her sleeve again. Beneath, her skin was metal, not sharp, not wires, but something alive. Liquid metal, flowing like blood. They didn't just give me powers. They gave me control over systems, machines, minds. Rayn blinked. Wait, minds? She nodded. Part of Project Helix was building mental sync between soldiers. Control networks. They tested it on my people first. I was the only one who could handle it without going insane. He stepped back. So you can, what? Read my mind? No, but I can feel your fear. Rayn raised his blaster again. So what now? You kill me? Take over the ship? Finish what Helix started? Alara didn't even blink. If I wanted to hurt you, you'd be dead already. Fair point. The ship's lights flickered again. The retriever was moving. It had cut through the sealed door. Slowly, patiently, Rayn turned to Alara. That thing's still coming. Can your mind tricks stop it again? She shook her head. Not this time. I used too much energy. I need a recharge. A what? There's a power core under the ship's floor. From the old tech. If I link to it, I can boost myself. And if you can't, then the retriever tears through both of us. No pressure, right? Rayn opened the floor hatch. The old core glowed dimly. He looked at her. Will it hurt? Only if I survive, she said with a tired smile. She touched the core. Electricity surged. Her body convulsed. Eyes went pure white. The room trembled. Rayn watched in horror and awe. Then silence. She stood up, glowing brighter than ever. I'm ready. But before they could move, the retriever broke in. Its body was cracked. But its eyes, if it had any, were burning. It raised a cannon arm. Ray stepped forward. Alara stepped in front of him. You had your chance, she said. She raised her hand, and the retriever exploded. Gone. Just metal dust. Rayn blinked. Remind me never to make you angry. But Alara didn't smile. She looked at him with cold eyes. We're not done. Helix doesn't stop with me. She turned to the console. Set course. Where to? Rayn asked. She looked him dead in the eye. To the lab. To where it all started. Asterisk choices and codes. The Black Falcon sliced through the stars like a ghost. Silent. Focused. Rayn sat at the console. Eyes locked on the coordinates. Destination. Helix Prime. The lab that started it all. Alara stood near the window. Her glow dimmed now. Resting. Watching. Neither of them spoke for a while. The silence was heavier than space itself. Rayn finally said, If I find out my brother really helped create you, and all this ... I don't know what I'll do. Alara didn't look at him. He tried to stop it. But by then, it was already too late. As they approached the planet, the scanners came alive. Unknown signals. Multiple defense satellites. Auto turrets. Rayn frowned. This place isn't just a lab. It's a fortress. Alara nodded. They protect secrets, not lives. The ship dropped into stealth mode, gliding under radar. They landed deep inside a canyon, covered by shadow. The lab entrance was carved into the rock. No windows, no lights. Just steel. Rayn stared at the door. I used to think monsters came from space, he muttered. Turns out, some wear lab coats. Inside the lab, everything was cold and dead. Broken screens. Empty halls. The place had been abandoned, but not recently. Recently enough that the walls still echoed. They moved carefully, weapons ready. The deeper they went, The worse it got. Test tubes, restraints, burn marks, dried blood. Rayn whispered, "What happened here?" Alara stopped in front of a sealed vault door. She placed her hand on the scanner. It lit up. Access granted. Welcome. Subject 47.RAYN raised an eyebrow. Still using your old login? I never really left, she said. The door opened. Inside, files. Footage. CRYO tanks. And in the center, a terminal with blinking green text. Helix log SCCESS enter passcode. Lara stepped back. Rayn moved forward, fingers trembling. He typed. In his brother's old ID code, Idris 92. Access granted. The screen lit up with dozens of logs. He clicked the top one. Log entry 221. Dr. Eli Idris. Today we completed neural sync with subject 47. She shows full system control. The military is impressed. But I'm not. She's still a child. Scared. Alone. They don't see that. They just see power. I tried to shut the project down. They blocked me. Sighed I was too emotional. If you're watching this, Rayn, then I'm gone, but not dead. Not yet. I had to go underground. Helix is no longer about defense. It's about domination. Rayn's knees buckled. His brother wasn't evil. He was trapped in a war, but then came the final log. Log entry 242. Helix control. Subject 47 has escaped. Facility lockdown failed. Retrievers activated. Code Shadow Protocol in place. Eliminate all witnesses, including Dr. Eli Idris. Rayn stared at Alara. They tried to kill him. She nodded. They still might. They moved deeper, past the logs, into a hidden chamber. Inside were dozens of cryotanks. Some held creatures Rayn had never seen. Others held humans. And in the far corner, one tank pulsed with blue light. Inside it, Eli, unconscious, barely alive, wires in his skin. Rayn ran to the tank. He's alive. He's been in stasis. Alara placed a hand on the controls. I can wake him. What? She hesitated. But the process is risky. He might not remember you. He might not remember anything. Rayn looked at his brother's face. Pale, peaceful. Then the alarm started blaring. Intruders. Detected. External gates opening. Ilara's eyes went cold. They found us. Rayn's mind raced. He had to choose. Wake Eli and risk alerting everyone. Or destroy the lab and everything in it, including the truth. Alara looked at him. What's your choice, Commander? Rayn's hand hovered over the console. His voice shook. I don't want revenge. A pause. I want answers. He hit the override. The cryotank hissed open. Eli gasped. Eyes opened. He looked up. RAYN. And whispered. You shouldn't have come. Asterisk. The Lab of Lost Souls. Eli sat up slowly in the cryotank chamber, eyes flickering with confusion. His voice was weak. Rayn? Rayn stepped forward, his chest tight. I'm here. I found you. But Eli's eyes were already scanning the room, and they stopped cold when they landed on Alara. You brought her here, he whispered. You don't know what you've done. Rayn frowned. She saved my life twice. Eli shook his head. You still don't get it. She's not what they made. She's what they feared would evolve. A loud boom shook the walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. Ilara's eyes glowed brighter. They've breached the outer gate, she said. Rayn turned to Eli. No more secrets. Tell me everything, now. Eli coughed, struggling to stand. You think Helix was about weapons? No, it was about transcendence. They weren't trying to fight aliens. They wanted to become them. Alara stepped forward, voice flat. They used my species, took our DNA, Mixed it with yours. Rayn's face twisted. So you're a hybrid. No, she said. I'm the prototype, the only one who survived full transformation. Rayn looked back at his brother. And you helped them do it? Eli's face darkened. I didn't know what I was helping build. Until it opened its eyes. Asterisk another blast. Closer now? Elara turned to Rayn. There's a lower level. Behind this lab. They never let me see it, but I know it's there. Rayn raised an eyebrow. What's down there? Eli whispered. The ones that didn't survive. They found the hidden elevator, behind a fake wall, sealed by DNA scan. Elara placed her palm on the pad. Access granted. Welcome. Prime subject. As the lift descended. The air grew colder. Like the building itself didn't want them there. The doors opened. Rayn stepped out, then stopped. Rows and rows of cryopods, each one filled with a twisted body, part human, part alien, most. Broken. Some were alive, moaning, barely conscious. Rayn's breath caught. Dear God? Eli stood beside him, eyes full of guilt. This was Helix's real goal. Create a new species, stronger, smarter, obedient. He pointed to the wall. A huge screen displayed a blueprint labeled Phase X, Homo Novus, humanity's next form. Rayn turned to Elara. Is this what you are? She shook her head. No, this is what they tried to force. I was born with. The merge. These ... were manufactured. One of the pods cracked. A creature inside began to move. Rayn stepped back. It looked at him. Eyes human, mouth alien. It whispered, Please, kill me. Rayn turned away, heart hammering. I thought. We were the good guys, he muttered. You were, Eli said quietly. Until we got scared of being weak. Suddenly, the alarm screamed. A voice echoed across the lab. Security breach. Detonation protocol active. Facility self-destruct in 10 minutes. Elara's expression sharpened. They're going too. Bury this place. Rayn grabbed Eli. We need to get out now. But Elara didn't move. She stared at the pods. I can't leave them, she said. They're barely alive, Rayn replied. They're suffering. She turned to him. They were me once. They didn't ask to be born like this. Rayn clenched his jaw. There's no time to argue. Eli pointed toward a side panel. If we disable the failsafe, we can keep a lab alive. Save the ones we can. But we risk getting trapped. Rayn stared at both of them. This was it. Another impossible choice. Escape now and leave the lab to burn. Or stay and save the broken souls, risking all of them dying too. Elara whispered, What kind of human are you, Rayn? Rayn's hand hovered over the control. He looked at Eli. He looked at the twisted lives in the pods. Then he slammed the override. Failsafe disabled. Detonation paused. Elara's eyes softened. You're the kind of human that gives me hope, she said. But hope didn't last long. From the elevator shaft, a shape emerged. Black armor. Taller than the retriever. Not a machine. Not a human. Something. New. It looked at Elara. And spoke. Prime subject. Return to the core. Elara's face paled. Rayn raised his weapon. Friend of yours? She whispered. That's Phase 11. The creature's hand glowed. Stepped forward, and the lights went out. Asterisk. One last promise. The lights died. Darkness swallowed the lab. Phase 11 stepped forward, glowing faintly under its armor. Its voice was cold and smooth, like ice sliding. Across steel. Prime subject. Return to the core. Evolution is not optional. Rayn pointed his blaster. Elara stepped in front of him, hands glowing. I'm not going anywhere, she said. Phase 11 tilted its head. Resistance is failure. You were built to obey. I was built to survive, she replied, and I choose who I become. Suddenly, boom. The walls cracked. Phase 11 moved fast. Too fast. 1 second it was standing still. The next, it slammed Elara across the room. She hit the wall hard, sparks flying from her skin. Rayn shouted, "Elara!" He fired. The bullets bounced off Phase She's armor like dust. Phase 11 turned to him, eyes glowing. "Human, step aside. You are irrelevant." Rayn gritted his teeth. "I've been irrelevant my whole damn life, but today, I matter." He ran toward the backup control console. Phase 11 charged. Eli, still weak, tackled it mid-run. A suicide move. "Go!" He screamed. Rayn reached the terminal. His fingers flew across the keys. He found the core. Override. Helix's original master. Code. Project termination. ALL subjects. His hands hovered. If he triggered it, every hybrid, every experiment, including Elara, would be wiped out. Elara crawled to her feet, bleeding light. Phase 11 threw Eli to the side, sparking with rage. Looked at Rayn. "You know what that button does," she said softly. Rayn's hand trembled. "I don't want to lose you." "If you don't press it," she said, "you might lose everyone else." Rayn looked at Phase 11. Unstoppable, growing stronger, absorbing tech around it. He looked at the failed pods, now flickering awake, trembling, unstable. Then at Eli, unconscious. Bleeding. Then at Elara, broken but still standing. And suddenly he knew. He stepped away from the console and walked toward Elara. "You were never the mistake," he said. He turned to Phase She, but they were. Elara took a deep breath and stepped into the core. The room shook. Her body lit up like a star. "Don't do it," Rayn shouted. She smiled, tears in her glowing eyes. "I promised you anything to get in. And now I promise everything too. Stop this." She pressed her hand to the core and let it all in. The energy flooded. Her memories. Pain. The minds of every failed subject. Every cry. Every fear. She became more than herself. She became them all. Phase 11 raised its blade and lunged. But she was already there. She met it mid-air. And in a flash of white light, they vanished. Silence. Then all the lights flickered back. The pods shut down. Peacefully. The lab. Quiet again. Eli groaned. Rayn rushed to him. "She's gone," Rayn whispered. "No," Eli said, smiling faintly. "She's free." Later, aboard the Black Falcon, Rayn stood alone at the window. Stars passed by in silence. He held the glowing cube Elara once carried. Suddenly, it blinked. A message. Just her voice. "Hey, Commander. I'm not good at goodbyes, but thank you. You gave me something they never did. A choice. I'm not gone. Just ... somewhere new. Somewhere peaceful. And if you ever feel cold out there, just remember, I promised I'd stay." Rayn smiled, tears in his eyes. Outside, one star pulsed brighter than the rest.